Hello, beloved ones and saints. How are you doing? I hope that you are having a blessed and not just a fantastic day, an awesome day, but a brand new year. Behold, he makes all things new. It's a new beginning. It's a new fresh start, and his mercies are new every morning. 2020. Never thought I'd be alive to see 2020. Wow. 2020, perfect vision, perfect sight. This year, things that doesn't seem to be clear will be clear to us in Jesus' name. For I know that there's a lot of people out there that things are very unclear, but we're about to have clear vision. So I want to get into the word, and the word today is John chapter 8, verse 36. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. You are free indeed. He doesn't just set you free, it's a forcefully, He makes you free. You are free. He pushes you to be free. He convicts you to be free. You listen to Him, you listen to His ways, He makes you free because you are a bondservant of Jesus Christ, a slave to Christ. You are free. Therefore, you are free from being a bondservant to and a slave to this world. Um, I want to say this that the title of today's message is Break the Cycle. Break the Cycle. Breaking all bad cycles. There's cycle of domestic violence, there's cycle of sexual abuse, there's cycle of being used wrong, cycle, spiritual abuse. Break that cycle of even spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse is when you are basically, if you're not walking in your calling that you are who you are, or free in Jesus Christ, if a person, place, or thing, kind of like a noun, does not allow you to walk in the freedom of Jesus Christ and into your liberty of who He called you to be, that is spiritual abuse. And there's a lot of that going on. And it is just as bad as physical, and it's just as bad as sexual, because sexual abuse keeps you from. Sexual abuse isn't really even about sex. It's about more about violence. It's more about somebody wanting to control and manipulate you. Spiritual abuse is about somebody who wants to control and manipulate you. Emotional abuse is about somebody who wants to control and manipulate you. So break the cycle. There's a lot of cycles that can be broken. Alcohol, drugs. I believe that there are certain things in that are learned behavior. We carry those certain things because they are learned behavior. We learn them from someone, and and two, well, that'd be the second reason. But the number one reason for anything that we do is because of the weakness of the flesh. We just like doing what we do. Our flesh likes to do what the flesh wants to do. But we must break the cycle. I remember uh, talking to someone, and this was on Monday, and I was talking to this lady, and I saw her black eye, and I asked her, was engaged in a conversation. Just basically like, wow, can I pray for your eye? What happened to you? What's the story? Did you get into a fight with somebody? And she told me that her boyfriend was drunk and hit her, and then basically, as I'm sitting here engaged in a conversation, listening to her conversation, she's making excuses. After a while, I just got fed up with all the excuses. I said, enough with the excuse. You are valuable. You are precious. No, nobody deserves to be abused like that. And as she was talking and talking, I was saying, she was saying, "Oh, I love him and this and that," and I said, you love him, but just don't be in love with him. You love him, you forgive him, but just don't be in love. I go, forgiveness does not mean you walk back and you allow that person to continue to abuse you like a sheep being led to the slaughter. Forgiveness means that you also forgive yourself and you walk away from that situation. Um, I'm going to get into something else really quick, but and into that, and then I said, um, you're valuable. And then I put this, and I made it in a parable. I put it into this perspective. If I was with you, she says, and that could be a possibility because you're handsome. I said, no, we need to go to another different direction. But if I was with you, and you was to beat me up, and I was to get up and just walk away, would you consider that to be weak, or would you consider that to be strength? Because I would consider that to be strength, rather than if you was to beat me up and I was to turn to beat you up, which I wouldn't, because I would never put my hands on a woman. I go, first of all, when a man raises his hands up to a woman, he just lowers himself to a boy. Think about that. And he's not a man anymore. You lost your man card. Put it that way. So um, I put it into that perspective. And I said, you need to break that cycle. You need to break the soul ties that you have to this person. And I pray that that the soul ties will be broken right off you. And I pray that you would be completely healed. Not just your black eye healed, but healed on the inside. Healed to that you do not look at yourself as a victim, but you look at yourself as an overcomer. An overcomer is the opposite of a purposeful victim. An overcomer is the opposite of a victim. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, and we love not our lives even unto death. And you think that you got to crucify your flesh to go see this guy. I say you got to crucify your flesh to keep you from seeing this guy and to break all the soul ties and break all the bonds that you have with this guy. Forgive, but forgiveness means walking away from that situation, walking away from that abuse. Then I said, we are attracted to what we are. Somebody was asking me, what, you never talk bad about your ex. I said, you know why I never talk bad about my ex? And even if I give a testimony over certain situations that happened to me with my ex, but you know why I never talk bad about my ex? Because if I talk bad about my ex, the two become one. I am talking bad about myself. There's something, let me get into this. In a bad situation, no matter what, and in that situation, if that person's bad, there is something why I was attracted to that situation and kept myself to be attracted to that situation. So we allow people to treat us the way we want to be treated. And we are attracted to certain situations. An abusee can be attracted to an abuser. Now let me get this. It can work both ways. And you understand what I'm going to talk about when I give you this story. There was this man who was convicted of sexual molestation. But you can use this for anything about breaking the cycle, for any situation, any cycle that needs to be broken. So as he's walking down the hall in his handcuffs, and of course this was under supervision, this was just to test. That's what we do, metal to a magnet, opposites attract. A metal is the opposite of a wood. A wood impels. Metal repels. It brings off something, and so therefore a magnet is attracted to metal. So our spirit, think about this, our spirit repels wherever we go. This is why even no matter what calling we have, or different callings, or different believers, even believers in other different denominations, even believers that may not even may not even be Pentecostals. This is why our spirit bears witness with their spirit. It's a spiritual thing when you got to break cycles. And I'll prove it to you. There was a man, when he was walking in handcuffs, who was convicted of sexual molestation. He was sitting in a room with 20 children between 3 and 4, 5, 6, different ages, and 19 of those children were never touched, never molested, but one was. And of course the doctor, psychologist, place the child that was molested into a certain area, into wherever it was in the situation, wherever that person was into that room. Uh, they noticed this. Not only did the guy who was in prison, jail, I'm sorry, I said jail, but I meant prison, who was in prison, when he walked into a room, the first child he walked up to was the one who was molested. The, not only did they notice that the abuser walked up to the child that was molested, the abusee was the one who gave the molester attention when he walked into the room. Think about that. So we have in society, we have, when it comes to, like, say, let me give an example for, like, domestic violence. We take a guy, he hits a girl, it's domestic violence. Into that situation, the cops come in, they break up. There's only so much that we can battle in the flesh, but we battle not against flesh and blood, but we can battle against principalities, powers, wickedness, and high places. We battle. It's a spiritual warfare to break these cycles. So he takes him, he gets a restraining order. See, what it does is that you in the flesh may have broken up the guy and the girl to where they don't see each other anymore, to where he goes to somebody else. But we put the guy into anger management, but we have so focused on society, the female. Not saying that the female is the problem, the victim, solution. Don't get me wrong. But when we may have broken up that guy and girl, but she is going to find, just like in the situation in that room with the guy that was in prison, who found the child of the molester, and the kid who was molested, she's going to find another guy who is going to treat her the exact same way of that other person, because you're attracted to what you're attracted to. It's a spiritual thing. Unhealthy people are attracted to unhealthy people. Healthy people are going to be attracted to healthy people. Saved people are going to be attracted to saved people, and unsaved people will be attracted to unsaved people. Equally yoked. It's just as simple as that. And it can go with drugs, any of that situation. It's a spiritual battle. And in these spiritual battles, in this spiritual warfare, these cycles, I say, must be broken in Jesus' name. We must break all soul ties, any cycle of abuse. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. It's been something that's been ringing in my mind. Stop going people, places, and things that are going to tear you down, but go to where they're going to build you up, to where you are not going to do that insanity of going in the same, doing the same thing, but break it, because you're about to go to do something different in Jesus' name. That's why I say break the cycle in Jesus' name. So, saints and beloved ones, I hope this message blesses you. To anybody who is abused, walk away. Forgive, but walk away. Drugs, alcohol, walk away. Break that cycle. Break those learned behaviors in Jesus' name. Because who the Son sets free is free indeed.